hardwood floors and stairwell to the basements. Right as the tornado was doing some of its worst damage, Mark Wells would begin recording from his back door.
Bot Rix has correctly joined the channel.
Would make the correct choice and take cover in his basement with his daughter Josie. Despite the horrifying sounds of the tornado, Mark and his daughter would survive. However, their home was gone. The neighbors' homes to the north were even worse, as they were completely swept off of their foundations. Going back to Chris Lancaster, who was still recording the tornado from his back patio. And as the tornado got closer and closer, the winds would get progressively stronger and stronger until it became too much and the home would catastrophically fail, sending Chris flying. Chris was just barely south of the main core of the tornado, and miraculously, he would escape with only a few cuts on his face.
Do you know the hormone trick that makes the tool grow? Being small has nothing to do with genetics, puberty problems, or anything you've heard before. So now see this secret to unlock growth. The former owner of an adult film production company has just shared his secret, the trick he used to make his actors eye-catching and strong. So pay attention, because today I'm going to reveal
He was now leaving Washington, and it was at this moment Matt Wells began recording his encounter from the north directly in that. But he was making a wise choice to drive west, away from the tornado. Two pieces of debris swirled around the tornado, almost resembling confetti. However, this confetti was fragments of homes from the town of Washington. This video is, in my opinion, one of the most incredible tornado videos ever captured, and it shows just how strong the Washington tornado became. Now, compare this to what it looked like right before it hit. The difference is ridiculous.
What can I do for you?
As the tornado left Washington, it was doing another incredible thing that could only be seen from satellite imagery. It would leave behind cyclonal markings. These markings were caused by the subvortices within the tornado, which are areas of concentrated power that were both rotating and translating, resulting in this distinctive pattern in the ground I consider to be a tornado's fingerprint. After over 12 miles, the tornado was still going strong. Meanwhile, back in town, the people of Washington emerged from the debris. Due to favorable atmospheric conditions, the tornado persisted well past the town of Washington and was now closing in on the town of Roanoke, Illinois. The tornado would pass only a few hundred yards from Parsons manufacturing plant, the same facility that took a direct hit of a violent Ford tornado back in 2004. The tornado continued northeast at over 50 miles per hour, mostly over open fields. However, it was now setting its sights on another town, an Oakville, Illinois, where Carla Consecchi was recording the tornado as she was driving south on Interstate 39. Let you know she was directly in the path of the violent tornado.
Where would you like to
Escaped
fly
the
to?
tornado's wrath as the core of the tornado was only a few hundred yards to the north. This point, the tornado had gone over 35 miles, but it was still going strong. After barely missing the town of Roanoke, Illinois, almost killing Carla Consecchi, it would nearly hit Dana, Illinois, continue northeast, and at 11:47, the tornado would lift near the town of Long Point, Illinois. The Washington tornado had left a path of destruction of over 45 miles, destroying over 1,000 homes, which equated to about $950 million in damage, putting it in the top 10 costliest tornadoes at the time. And even though the Washington tornado had lifted, the supercell was still going strong. It would put down two other EF2 tornadoes. I also want to mention the deadly tornado that happened down south in New Minden, Illinois, killing 3 and an EF3 tornado that would affect Rockford, Kentucky, killing another 3 people. In total, over 77 tornadoes would touch down on November 17, 2013, a time of year that we shouldn't see any tornadoes. But that's not the end of the story. How are the people of Washington going to recover from a tornado that destroyed over 1,000 homes in town? Almost immediately, the locals would get to work cleaning up the debris, donating supplies, and housing the unfortunate ones who now no longer had a home. And while the people were putting their blood, sweat, and tears into fixing their hometown, the mayor would ask for help from the federal government, applying for a $26 million grant from FEMA. Unfortunately, FEMA would deny the request, citing a rule: the threshold required for FEMA to approve the aid is equal to $1.35 times the state population. And given that the Illinois state population at the time was around 13 million, for some reason, FEMA did not grant Washington any federal aid, which is disgusting. The Washington tornado was one of the most impactful tornadoes ever, yet for some reason, FEMA did not consider that disaster enough. It makes zero sense, and it really sets a horrible precedent. It basically says that a tornado that occurs in a highly populated state like Illinois is not going to get any help from the federal government.
We really feel that the federal law that the FEMA follows needs fundamental reform and improvement. It really is unfair to large states like Illinois and other large states as well that have big cities in them, but also many rural areas. And the formula that FEMA has followed with respect to aid to municipalities and counties just isn't fair.
While the situation surrounding the FEMA funding is extremely disheartening, I do want to talk about some of the positive takeaways. One of the most remarkable things about the Washington tornado is that it only killed 3 people. Well, yes, 3 people is 3 too many, given the situation of a violent tornado going directly through a densely populated area. 3 dead is very low. Only 3 died. In my opinion, the main reason for the low death count is the remarkable job done by the meteorologists at the National Weather Service. While the Washington tornado was a freak tornado, the meteorologists saw it coming. They warned it and got the message out well ahead of time, informing everyone in its path to get to cover, saving countless lives. Now compare that to the Plainfield F5, another violent tornado that occurred in Illinois, but had no tornado warning. The confusion surrounding the Plainfield tornado was a huge issue, and is the main reason why 20 people died, because none of those 20 knew what was coming their way. The reason for the low death count was the quality of construction in Washington. Most of the homes had basements, meaning almost everybody had a safe place to go. Compare that to Moore, Oklahoma, where almost none of the homes have basements. And sadly, the EF5 tornado that went through Moore, Oklahoma earlier the same year would kill a far greater number at 24. In the years following, Washington would fully recover. It's now nearly impossible to see where the tornado went through town.
Oh my god! Well, thank oh my god. Freaking Baba Booey, dude. I mean, if we're gonna hit Reeve this early, I don't mind. Come on.
They shall regret displeasing my master's home.
Oh my god, no pity manipulation here, guys. That's crazy. Okay, so we hit Reeve 30 in. Oh, I do love the pity manipulation, but that is crazy. So this is what we're gonna do. Everything just changed. Everything just changed. A whole new strategy has emerged. I'm gonna go for A1 Reeve. I'm gonna skill out Reeve. He'll do way better than I do. Because he's going to get more damage from his ult, he's going to get a more frequent ult, and he's going to get a longer ult. And this is the ult, is where he's going to get some nice health regeneration that's coming here. Because pretty soon his ult is also coming out the stuns, so he's going to have more of the HP regeneration. Okay, jump it back in, breathe, and get back up first. Okay, that'll. Wherever this is at full, again, I'm going to be really aggressive. Goes to 1x. Over half. Maybe this is the one Reeve holds on. Come on now. Keep on yourself. Hold on, buddy. Do you get that? Yes, okay, read last video. That could this be the run? Things are lining up for us. Everyone's already up. Come on now. Let this be the run. Let this be the run. Those stuns should buy us just enough time. Let this be the run. Let this be the run. Guys, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Let's go. Oh my god. There you go. And it really was a Reed showcase in the end. Oh my goodness gracious.
Watch your rounds for free now. President Biden and Trump have been confirmed as their party presumptive nominees after police competitive primaries.
Lots of debris in this tornado.
It's right in front of us. I see it.
Lots of damage.
Keep creeping, we're good.
We may have been suffering a drought, but there's no shortage of meat. Care to browse my goods? Keep it real. What's up? Ah, a visitor. Must be an adventurer. We don't get many tourists down this way. Grab a chair and a drink, make yourself comfortable. Say, you look like you have some meat on your bones. You thinking about competing in the cage matches?
Don't know where the fuck he at.
I need a target. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet. I'm out of range.
This bitch die at?
I need to get closer.
Kill ads.
That spell isn't ready yet. Recharging. That spell.
still.
They can't join our group. We can't invite anyone else.
No. It converted back to a party.
They can't join our group.
Yeah.
Did you want?
Nope. I'll eat later. Thank you.
Isn't ready. That's still recharging. I can't cast it. I can't cast it. That's still recharging.
Right now, my guy.
It's too far away. I need to get closer. I can't cast it. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. I need to I can't cast that yet. It's too far away. That spell
Killads.
isn't ready yet.
Killads.
That's still that spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast it. That spell I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. It's too far away.
Greetings. See you around.
Time is money, friend. Oh.
It's too far away. That's still
Are we going too fast?
It's too far away. I don't have a target. I need to target somebody first. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. I'm out of range.
These deserts are mine.
That's fair. That's fair.
The savagery of me. Welcome to Tenaris, adventurer. How can I be of service to you today? You don't look like a blacksmith to me, but I know how looks can be deceiving.
Where would you like to fly to? Safe travels.
I saw some pretty interesting threads going on last night on X around some potential behind-the-scenes battle going on between Matt Walsh and Ben Shapiro. People wondering aloud how long Matt Walsh would have left at the Daily Wire as long as he continued to essentially have an opposite opinion of Ben Shapiro on interventionalism and everything that's going on 7,000 million miles away in the desert. And Matt Walsh responded directly to it. I actually think this is different than the Ben Shapiro versus Candace Owens thing, because in this particular case, Matt just has a different opinion than Ben. A lot of people bringing up, hey, well, so did Candace. That's true, but Candace also was a lot more antagonistic about it, a lot more aggressive about it. So I don't know, but it's interesting that people are definitely noticing this and asking, you know, saying, hey, we're essentially living in two different realities. I saw this tweet from Luke Rodkowski yesterday. Shout out Luke at We Are Change. How many days does Matt Walsh have left at Daily Wire? And this was in response to Matt Walsh's latest episode, or at least a clip of his episode. Greg Abbott said he was having protesters arrested because of anti-Semitism, and it won't be tolerated in Texas. I believe in arresting people who break the law, but there is no law against this, and there shouldn't be. This is something I 100% agree with Matt Walsh on. I find myself agreeing with him far more often these days than as long as he doesn't talk about video games or pop culture. We basically agree on most things. But I agree with him. It was weird to see all these college kids getting arrested and then have it being blamed on anti-Semitism. Because if that's why they were arrested, then they shouldn't have been arrested. That's not illegal in this country. We have a First Amendment right. We have First Amendment protections. All these videos of these woke college kids getting arrested is because they are trespassing, or they've been told to move and they haven't moved, or they're storming buildings, or they're doing all sorts of other stuff like that. That's why they're getting arrested. But I do think it's curious how many people are saying, whether it's Greg Abbott or it's other people in particular, advertising it as, well, we won't tolerate anti-Semitism. Well, actually, it's legally protected under the First Amendment. It's just a fancy escalator. You're allowed to say racist things. That's not against the law. There may be, say, like certain platforms might demonetize you or deboost you or whatever, but it's not illegal to say these things. And when you say, for example, like anti-Semitism is just a special fancy escalator for just people who say racist things that happen to be about Jewish people. They get their own category of it, which is somehow supposedly worse. It's all bad, in my opinion. It's all equally bad. Hating somebody for their skin color.
Hey guys, welcome back to Artosis Cast. We are in the CNSL Season 7 Round of 16's Group C. And we're going to be going into the decider match. Already, Bishop has advanced from this group in first place. Kid out of this group in last place. Both of those very much deserving. Bishop crushing the group and Kid getting absolutely demolished in this round, unfortunately for him. And now this final match will be between MC and Yoon. I think that this will probably be the best match of this Group C. And I do favor Yoon a little bit, but I'm hoping that MC can do it. I really want to see MC succeed and become championship level in StarCraft 1, as he is so entertaining in StarCraft 2. Let's see if he can do it. In the top left of Citadel here, once again, we have Yoon. And in the top right, MC. Sorry. I have a compact keyboard. My arrow keys are not by themselves. Sometimes I press the wrong button. All right. Citadel. Citadel PVZ, I think, is it's pretty reasonable for Protoss. I've heard Zerg say that they're not big fans of playing Citadel against Protoss, but I'm not 100% sure what it is about the map for that. It has to do probably with the third base positioning, and like the way that you can take angles defending that seems pretty reasonable. Like the Nexus is not out anywhere. The amount of commitment you have to put into the third base area to kill the Nexus, if you look at that compared to a map like, let's say, Vermeer, it's way more of a commitment to kill it with Hydralisks or something than it would be on, yeah, again, a map like Vermeer. So
Ishnu, your body looks worn and your spirit weary. Rest yourself beneath our roof and allow Elune to guide your dreams.
Anything I could do to help? Wish I was. Tag me in, coach. I got this. I'm sorry, babe. I really do wish I could help you. It will be a lot easier once I'm fully in the picture. Oops.
Stealth.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet.
Oh shit.
Barkskin. Frenzied regeneration. More stock.
I can't use that. That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet.
We can be lazy together on our movie day.
I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging. I need to get closer. That spell isn't ready. That's still recharging. I can't cast
Fuck, man. Stupid shield. Always be dropping, bro. All it drops is that damn shield.
That's still recharging. I can't cast that yet. That's still recharging.
blood.
It's too far away. I'm out of range. It's too far away.
$734. This is fucking nerds gear, bro.
I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. It's too far away. I can't cast that yet. I can't cast it.
god. Oh my god. Please. Yes! Oh my god. Fucking done with that dumb boss.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging.
1-4 speed. So now my martyr is gonna be like insane, right? It finally fucking dropped. Now we literally just need to do woe. Literally. Just woe. Oh my god, my damage! Doing so much damage! Oh my god.
I can't cast that yet. That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet.
That's crazy.
It's too far away. That's still recharging.
Oh shit. A lot of horde.
Bestial wrath. Intimidation.
Are we all gonna be cordial? Nope, we're not. We doing this?
Grounding. Stealth.
That spell isn't ready yet. That's still recharging. I still recharging.
Oh my god. That never happens. That was a close one. Dude, Pally is so fun.
I don't have a target. It's too far away. It's still recharging. I can't handle it. That spell. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. I'm out of range. That's still recharging. I can't. That's still recharging. That spell isn't ready. I can't cast that yet. It's too far away. That's still recharging. That's still recharging.
Eight. Oh yeah, they there. Let's go play a different game. This is so fucking retarded. Fucking damn. Dams. What the fuck? Yo, what?
That's what I'm talking about right there. That fucking one shot. That's what I'm talking about right there. That fucking one shot.
Are you okay? You can't handle it. You did. What is that? No. I inject myself with bull dick. You okay? Bruce? You can't handle it. You did. She's dead. Trying to straight from the boots. Yeah, no. I don't inject myself with bull dick. I mean. You gotta go, man. You okay?
Are you wasting money on unwanted subscriptions? I have lots of monthly subscriptions. Streaming, music, new.
I didn't know this till I moved out here and really started working in the industry, but I am a little bit stunned that there are this many StarCraft 1 fans that don't seem to understand what happened and why it matters so much, and also how bad it was for StarCraft 1 and impacted esports and impacted StarCraft 2. Everything that we are at in esports now is kind of rippling from this. Okay, we are going to be reacting to the video StarCraft 2 is dying, but Brood War lives forever. This is a video by Zayn KCM. He is a StarCraft caster for Brood War. Actually, he's a very good caster. I've watched several of his videos. I would check out his YouTube if I were you. Be sure to subscribe to him. He made this video. What is this? This is 6 months ago. I wanted to react to this and give my own commentary and give my own thoughts and opinions on it.
Blizzard is abandoning StarCraft 2, with tournaments being cancelled. Viewership is falling, prize pools are plummeting, and pro gamers are heading back to Brood War in waves. Why is it that a buggy game...
So real quick, he said... Camera down here a little bit more. 1 second. Here we go. He said, StarCraft 2 tournaments are being canceled. This is true, specifically GSL Super Tournament. What was the other critiques?
Are heading back to Brood War in waves.
Oh, pro gamers are heading back to Brood War in waves.
In 1998 still holds up to this day. While its sequel, better graphics, that receives attention and continuous updates from the company that created it is slowly dying. Why would pro gamers prefer to play this over this? Did companies of the past just magically create great games out of some kind of freak accident? How come they can't replicate that success with new releases? Let's take a look at StarCraft Brood War and StarCraft 2 as an analog for the wider games industry and try to understand what went wrong and how companies can avoid these problems in the future.
So, I think he lays out his thesis here. I think it's an interesting one. I don't know if it's presented totally fairly here. We had StarCraft 2, so there have been tournaments canceled, but we also were picked up by Gamers 8. Gamers 8 is doing a lot, well, the Saudis, I should say, are doing a lot to basically save esports at this point in time. We had the biggest prize pool ever at Gamers 8. It was massive. The viewership was off the hook. So it's like, yes, there are tournaments that are shrinking, and a lot of this is just due to the collapse of Blizzard. And I just want to lay that out here. I think he makes some very good points about both games, but I think you really need to zoom out to what's happened with Blizzard, how much they came in and did for StarCraft 2, and how, as the Warheims were pushed out and all the esports staff left, how much that affected StarCraft 2. So I want to give some more commentary to this. Again, I think it's a great video. Let's go ahead and hear his argument for the 2.
As a Brood War fan, I could go on and on about the greatness of this game, and I will. But first, let me say that no one was more excited about StarCraft 2 than me. I played Brood War from the time I was 10, right up until StarCraft 2 was released. The trailer for StarCraft 2 was the most epic, hype announcement I've ever seen, and I still remember the feeling when I first laid eyes on it. The moment...
By the way, me too. Just, I remember having a shitty summer job at my university. I got to live in the dorms, and I had to, like, paint dorm rooms and move furniture and mattresses and stuff, and the job just sucked. And I remember seeing this trailer and being like, oh my god, I think my life is going to change.
The music started. Oh my god. It sent chills down my spine, and when he said, hell, it's about time, tears burst from my eyes, and my mind was made up. StarCraft 2 would be the greatest game of all time. The sad reality, though, was, although I reached Masters in Wings of Liberty, I hardly played Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void I skipped altogether. It wasn't a problem.
So the game did get a massive hit with Heart of the Swarm. By the way, for me personally, as a caster, that was my least favorite time for StarCraft 2. I felt like the Swarm House especially just kind of changed the whole pacing of the game. A decision made by not the balance team actually, but the game designers, which the balance team then had to make this, competitive and playable. But this was a big hit for the game, no doubt.
With the graphics,
so I get that.
Smoothness of the gameplay, it's just the game wasn't really fun. I got back into Brood War just before the remastered edition came out, and I've stayed into it ever since. And I'm not the only one. Even the well-known casters Artosis and Tasteless have gone back to streaming Brood War regularly. So what is it that Brood War has that StarCraft 2 doesn't? By all rights, StarCraft 2 should have been able to capitalize on the hype from dedicated players like me, as well as the technology of the times, plus their massively increased budget, to create a better version of the game that could capture their audience. However,
hold on.
It may be these factors themselves which hindered the success of the project. The large team at Blizzard with...
So, initially, this is where I wanted to give some pushback here. StarCraft 2 was massive when it came out. It was the best-selling game of all time. Nothing had matched it. It jump-started global esports the way that StarCraft Brood War jump-started Korean esports. If you go talk to the founders of Twitch, the game that everybody was playing actually was Justin TV back then. If you guys didn't know, Twitch was originally called Justin TV. These guys in San Francisco had basically figured out how to live stream from a computer, like a laptop or a desktop, which was crazy for the time. They made the site Justin TV. Suddenly, players like Hydra and these other good StarCraft 2 players started playing on there. And a lot of those Twitch guys will attribute the big success of Justin TV, which later became Twitch, to StarCraft 2 and how viewable it was as a game. So, if you might be watching me on Twitch right now, like, it had a massive impact. And I feel like occasionally people talk about this like it had failed on some level when they're not going to acknowledge, the real hit that it was at the time.
Their massive budget and advanced technology allowed them to create outstanding cinematics and improved graphics, but it also allowed them to engage in what I like to call artificial balance. Live service allowed Blizzard to continuously change and reinvent their game balance works. The creators need each unit to fulfill a specific purpose. They have an image of how the unit will function and what role it will play, and they tailor the unit's abilities and stats to suit that role. When players start to use the units, they often find powerful ways of using them that were unintended by the developers. The team at Blizzard is then forced to make changes that in turn force the players into using the units correctly. So I don't know if I agree with this. I mean, I think they basically made a handful of units with some ideas. For Blizzard ever trying to change units because things weren't being done correctly. You basically have, there's two kinds of games, okay? There are the StarCraft Brood Wars, Smash Melee, I remember Capcom 2 maybe is another example of this. Games that they didn't have a level of service.
How are you?
They didn't patch, and it turns out they just aged perfectly. So, that's incredible. I mean, I guess it was going to happen to a couple of games, right? Let's use Smash Melee as an example. People are still learning about that game. I believe that game is actually still growing. Viewership's very good. People are still learning new things. The depth is there. There's another video I saw just a few days ago about the original Tetris on NES, where people are still figuring stuff about that. So that's incredible. Any game developer in the modern era, and by the way, I guess this is back in 2012, but of course you'd want a live service update. You can stop cheating. You can try to balance and improve the game. And I think Blizzard, although there were mistakes made certainly part of this forum, was in a situation where they were steadily improving things. So let them go on here. Certain races discover new strategies that break the balance. And by the way, this image here, this is a problem for StarCraft 2. The death ball mechanic, early infestors spamming on infested Terrans. There was definitely an issue with air units basically becoming death ball-y, so sorry. The game designers are forced to step in and introduce patches that restore the balance again temporarily. This continues as new expansions are released and all the new units that come with them are added to the game. All these changes and patches force players to constantly change and adapt to new metas and strategies that
Sombra,
evolve
Cashley, Tracer, Orisa, Wrecking Ball, Stack, Lucio, Mora. No way.
That's what they did in StarCraft 1. StarCraft 1 had an expansion pack called StarCraft Brood War. There could have been another universe if Blizzard had, given StarCraft 1 more.
Season 10 has changed quite a lot in the meta. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the best and worst heroes in this new Season 10 Overwatch tier list. So we're going to be ranking all of them in alphabetical order. So if you want to jump to any hero, you can do that really easily. But before we begin, I really want to get to 100,000 subscribers before 2025. So if you could do a solid and smash that subscribe button. Plus, we're going to be having a ton of updated guides about Season 10. So you're definitely going to want to make sure you don't miss out. Smash that subscribe button right now, and let's get into the video. Now, the first character that we definitely got to talk about is Ana. And Ana is the most popular character in the game by quite a margin. She's the most played at basically every single rank, but it's unfortunate that she is not really performing all that well this season. Mainly due to the fact that Ana got hit with several nerfs, plus the health increase that really happened going into Season 9 hurt Ana a lot. Mobility became a premium, and there's a lot of new maps, like a lot of the Flashpoint maps, that Ana could easily get caught out, left behind, and killed over and over again. She has a lot of bad matchups. She really needs some form of bodyguard to keep her alive. I think Ana Brig is still really, really good in ranked, and you could definitely rock like an Ana Cassidy or something along those lines, but most of the time, Ana is going to be the target of a lot of teams. A lot of characters are going to come after Ana, and it's really not easy for you to stay alive. There are some characters that are pretty good against her, like Ramatra and certain other characters. I do think that Brig... I do like that Cassidy has a role in the current meta. Estimated, and it's one of the reasons why really good Doom players are really strong. She's consistently been really overperforming, and I think she's one of the best characters to learn if you really want to have a tank that doesn't play this counter swap game and is just really good in the meta generally across the board. I would definitely suggest D.Va. The next character that we definitely got to talk about is Echo. And overall, I consistently say that Echo is underrated. She's a really hard character to learn, but she's so strong for many different reasons. She has a really great neutral game with good poke. She can burst down people even through the really high health total if you get them in your... Doesn't mean that you will be really impactful on the character if you're not playing them even remotely well. So yeah, I think the character definitely deserves a high place, and based on pick rate as well, you need to understand that Kiriko's going to be represented actually happens in team fights. Overall, this character is a D tier character, and I think that they need a rework. Definitely let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments down below. Next up, we're going to talk about Lucio, and yeah, I'm still putting Lucio in the S tier. Some people might really disagree with that, especially after his pretty severe damage nerf. But Lucio right now is not really seeing play because of his damage. I mean, of course that helps, but it has more to do with the fact that Lucio's hard to kill, enables dive, enables brawl. So, I mean, you can't play Lucio in poke, of course, but dive and brawl are very, very popular right now. And Lucio just being a character that can peel, can deny plays from the enemy team, can enable his team overall to be more proactive, and just has a fantastic ultimate. His beat is still just really, really strong, whether you're using it defensively or aggressively. Lucio's just a great character that's fitting into the new Season 9 Plus meta very well, and I don't foresee that changing anytime soon. And yeah, I think that you put him up here now in ranked play with his damage nerfed. He's not necessarily all the way up here. I think I put him above Kiriko. I think I put him here. He might even be higher than that. Maybe I need to move this tier list around a little bit. Sorry, Cassidy, you're getting down ranked to top of B. Yeah, I mean, Mauga is just really good. He's really good at trading resources. There's some tanks that he just the character's great. He's really king, right? There's a lot of mobility. A lot of people love mobility. If your character has mobility, they're having a good time. As of these past 2 seasons, Mei gets less value with her wall because of it. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't going to be some characters that you play against that you're going to be able to completely shit on with wall. That doesn't mean you're not going to be able to get a lot of value out of Mei if you're really good with her. She's still really tanky. She's still really hard to kill. But her overall value on average, I think, has gone down. It doesn't mean the character is bad by any stretch of the imagination. And I think that if you're really good with the character, you could be really creative with how you use your walls, and if you're hitting your shots consistently, you could still have a ton of damage. But yeah, it's in a weird situation where I don't think that she is going to be that good on average. More of a flex pick in the certain situations. Next up, we do got to talk about Mercy. Mercy in ranked play is always going to be good. I've talked about this before, but characters that force synergy automatically become insane in ranked where there isn't very much synergy. What I mean by that is when we talk about Kiriko, right, and a Kiriko can teleport onto a DPS and save them and force a 1v1 into a 2v1 where your team wins, right? That's amazing and super powerful, but it requires timing. It requires you to have awareness. It requires you to be looking at your team and not being distracted with something else, which is all things that are actually really hard in ranked play compared to finding someone, attaching to them, and forcing the synergy. That's what Mercy does. She forces synergy, and a forced synergy is super strong. A forced synergy is something that gets you automatic value, where if we compared the forced synergy to like the optimized synergy, right, the optimized synergy would probably win, but how many times do you get the perfect Kiriko DPS synergy? It's going to be few and far between in comparison. So as people get better at those synergies, Mercy becomes weaker and weaker. But in most games of Overwatch, especially if we're talking about underneath the Masters rank or even underneath the Diamond rank, Mercy and that force synergy is so goddamn powerful, where an Ashe with the damage boost gonna take over an entire game. It's just gonna do that, or an Echo with a pocket, you're gonna take over an entire game. I think that these things are super underestimated, and one of the reasons why I think Mercy will always be really good in a lot of ranks, regardless of her current place in the overall meta. I'm actually going to put her here in B. I think even in the higher ranks of play, you can still find ways to get value with her. You know, a pocketed Ashe, Sojourn, Echo, Pharah. Like, there's ways to still get a lot of value with her, even in the high ranks of play. But in most ranks of play, I think you just get value because of the force synergy. Next up, we got to talk about Moira. Moira's still really, really good overall. Great mobility, really hard to kill, can survive. There's just... we talked about how mobility is great, a character that can pivot in aggressively when they need to, but can play defensively and just never die when they want to. There's a lot of great things about Moira, and yeah, I mean, overall, she's just a character that I think most players should know how to flex to. If their main isn't working, great character to flex to overall. And I'm actually going to put Moira probably around here. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really know what the perfect placement of these characters are. I know they all deserve A tier, but this order could be moved around however you see fit, and it's going to change depending on rank and skill and whatever. But they're all very, very good characters in the meta. I don't necessarily think that one is better than the other. It depends on too many factors to make them better than the other, but they're all this caliber of a character. Next up, we got to talk about Orisa, and yeah, unfortunately, Orisa is S tier right now. Not might be the certified biggest Orisa hater in the entire game of Overwatch. I hate this character. I think that her design is bad. I think that she doesn't create good metas. There's a lot I don't like about the character, but what I will say is Orisa is one of the few tanks that give tank players the feeling of a tank. The tank vision, right? You get to walk into space, you get to claim that space, you get to stand there unfazed and not die, right? Most tanks don't get to live that dream. Orisa does. So in that regard, I feel like if we're gonna create these metas where tanks just get bullied all the time, then it's only right that the tank that rises to the top is the one tank that can't get bullied, right? That's just, I mean, that's really the situation that we have created, you know, with the balance and the state of the game. It's unfortunate. I don't like Orisa as a character, but I understand why Orisa is so strong. Very hard to kill, very hard to focus down, can actually create space and take space and hold space in a way that other tanks can't. And yeah, I mean, she's like the boogeyman right now, but it's kind of like if you make the entire role not able to have fun, they're going to find a way to do it, and that solution has been Orisa. Unfortunately, it is what it is, but yeah. I don't necessarily think that Orisa will stay this way forever. I would imagine that the mid-season patch will probably nerf Orisa, but for now, definitely have this character at the very least in your back pocket as a tank main, because if you're getting counter-swapped over and over and over again, you're not allowed to play the game. Whip out the Orisa, and at the very least, you'll be able to have value and do the tank dream or live the tank, you know, hero fantasy. Now, the next character we got to talk about is Pharah, and I'm still a really big proponent of Pharah. I'm a really big fan of Pharah. I like Pharah a lot. I think she can poke really, really well. She can dive very well, and if you get good with her, you can fight enemies in a way that they're not really expecting it. Now, it's weird, though, because there are certain characters that counter Pharah that you wouldn't expect. Echo is really good at shutting down Pharahs. D.Va is really good at making it so you can't play the game and you have to play passive. So those are like the two things that I think can make it so it's really hard for you to play Pharah. And in a lot of ways, if you're really good at Pharah, I would say Echo is probably going to be pound for pound better in a lot of other situations. Doesn't mean you can't get value out of Pharah. And I think that the games that you're stomping, Pharah stomps them harder for sure. And especially if you have like someone that is creating a lot of space, like a dive tank creating a lot of space, and you could spam into it. You could spam into ball slams. You could spam into Doomfist engages. That's really, really strong. And then the last thing about Pharah that I'll say is Pharah, I think, is really held back by her ultimate. I mean, that ultimate is really, really rough. You could definitely get a kill if you kill one person, but you're like going to trade the majority of the time. And maybe if you could cancel it, like if you could activate Barrage and cancel it when you want to, it would be like so much freaking better. I mean, even if we talked about Echo versus Pharah being like somewhat close, their ultimates put them so far away that it's just nuts. Like, yeah, overall, I'm going to put Pharah, I think, down here. I think you could still get value out of the character, but yeah, not necessarily the same value you can get at other characters if you're good enough with them. Next up, let's talk about Ramattra. I'm actually going to put Ramattra at the top of B, I believe. There's nothing fight, either getting the kill or not, fading away in ways to really, like, argument for putting her in the A. Because she's good in a lot of the compositions that are seeing play. We did see a slight nerf to the character, but overall, I think the character is still really strong, especially if you're playing her with the dive composition and you have people that can follow up on your hacks, on your value, on your info, on your engagement, then Sombra can be unstoppable. But she's similar to Genji in that way, where like if you're not playing her in the optimal composition, she feels pretty poor, especially because
Orisa, Ramattra, Sigma Doomfist.
Okay, it's time. Chat, while I rearrange the heroes, actually they're in order. Hey, yo, hey, whoever runs this tier list, you put them in order. Okay, I need to say something in the beginning. Normally, I always take at least a week, if not more, before I start my tier list videos. The reasons for that is it gives me time to play them in ranked. It gives me time to give a little bit of a feel for what's going on. However, though, this season, other than Venture, kind of feels like a nothing burger. So there's definitely some changes, but not as many as you might think. So I wanted to give you at least that heads up at the beginning. If you start going, oh, Flans, this looks similar. Yeah, I know. Trust me, I'm in the same boat. I understand. We'll talk more about it as we keep going. But I wanted to at least give you that caveat at the beginning before you might think, what's going on? First up, this is actually the one I probably didn't want to start with because it's way too difficult and way too early to know. So actually, I'm going to rename this one to Wild Card. I'm going to put Ball in the wild card tier. I don't actually know where Ball is going to fall at all yet. It's way too early to tell, and I'm not really sure where they're going to be. It's too early. There's new text that got introduced. I know all the Ball players are trying a bunch of stuff out. Some people think it might be really good. I saw some takes that they think that the overshield sharing isn't actually that good, but the text of the movement is insane. Jasmine says Ball is A tier right now. Obviously, people who are Ball connoisseurs are going to know better than I am, right? I have no clue. It's too early. It's nerfed. Hog will then become the next thing. And it becomes this never-ending cycle of whatever is the really oppressive, super unfun / like really tanky / really heavy sustain or heal or stand there and try not to die tank becomes the next meta. And Hog is going to be the next one on the list. When this one, which I'm going to jump ahead just so we can all get there, Orisa gets nerfed. Orisa currently is what everyone is playing, even in OWCS. Granted, today we did actually see one team run Hog, although they're kind of the one-trick team in their meaning, but they did well. And Winston we saw a little bit too, but mostly everyone's running Orisa. And the reason everyone's running Orisa is because we're right back to square one, where tank can't really have impact, so you stand there and try not to die. You have two styles of play. You have the really all-in trying to get kills and like help your team, and it requires insane amounts of coordination, insane amounts of skill. Or you play Orisa and you stand there and you do nothing, just shoot the enemy team until something happens, and you press your buttons, make sure you don't die, and then you sometimes land a huge spear, get a lucky spear, somebody dies, and it's frustrating to play with, it's frustrating to play against, and it sucks to play Orisa. But you can't knock any tank player for playing Orisa right now. And if you play quick play, you know what I'm talking about. Every tank player who goes into quick play plays Orisa. Why? Because all the other tanks feel like shit to play against, except for like maybe like one or two, which I think is like Hog, sort of Mauga, sort of Winston. But then you know what ends up happening? You go Hog, they go Ana, they go Orisa, they go all the things to counter you. Then you get pissed off, and then you go Hog or you go Orisa, right? And it's just ass. It's this never-ending cycle. And you know what? I thought about this earlier. Unironic, extremely spicy hot take. I think Overwatch 1 Orisa might have been more healthy than Overwatch 2 Orisa. In the vacuum of no double shield. Like pre-Sigma double shield. I think it's gotten that bad. Where it's the same thing. You're basically dealing with the never-ending sustain, but instead of shooting a shield, you're shooting a meat wall. And then if you're playing the Orisa yourself, you're either unkillable or you explode. And it sucks that those are your options. Because if you play against Orisas, sometimes you feel like they're oppressive and you feel like you can't do anything, which is true. But sometimes if you play the Orisa, you feel like you have no impact and you're just exploding, which is also true. Both statements can be true at the exact same time. And the problem is once Orisa is going to get tuned down, because Orisa's gotten a bunch of micro buffs, that's why Orisa's meta now, Hog will take over. That's my prediction. Other than maybe like Winston potentially in like high level play, or potentially Mauga depending on like what patches happen, right? But at least at this exact moment, I'm scared that this is the cycle we're in. Next up is Junker Queen, who's taken a massive hit. Junker Queen, I would say, isn't the worst tank in the game. But the problem is, though, is there's so many things that are better. Orisa's way better. Hog is way better. Mauga is way better. Winston D.Va don't occupy the same niche as Junker Queen. And you'll see why I'm going to bump D.Va here in a minute, because I think D.Va's better than Queen, right? But it's like dependent on the map. It depends on the comp. It depends on where you're playing, right? There's a lot of other things I take into account. But Queen's like not bad, but also Cass is really good. Cass is basically what we discovered in season 9 early on, was that Cass kind of shits on Queen, because Cass is tanky as shit now with 275 HP, and you just keep sitting and you have the bigger bullets, you just sit there and you just keep hitting her and hitting her and hitting her, and then she can't do much, you know? So yeah, Queen, yeah, you're right. Queen is situational, but at the same time, though, there's not really a situation where playing Queen is better than playing Orisa or playing Mauga or playing Hog, or on the dive maps playing D.Va or playing Winston, right? That doesn't mean Queen's bad. It just means that the game is no longer favoring her, and we're also in this endless cycle of all the super giga-buffed number characters are going to be better. So, can't put Queen any higher than that. Mauga. Mauga, I'm still in a little bit of a question mark spot, but I think Mauga could either be a B or an A, and I'm leaning more towards A than B. Because the only thing that's really Mauga is Orisa. And we just watched an OWCS where the Nightmare team, Timeless Nightmare, was running Hog, and they were beating the Orisa team. They swapped Mauga and started beating them. Why? Because Mauga does actually kind of eats against Hog in a lot of ways. There's a little more that has to come in there, sure, but the sustain and the poke, Mauga is just slept on. I think Mauga is slept on. And unfortunately, you know, it's more of Orisa's kind of keeping everything together, right? Orisa's kind of keeping it all together. Almost like the original rock, paper, scissors. Yeah, you're kind of right. Remember it was Winston, D.Va, and Zarya? It's kind of the new age of rock, paper, scissors, kind of, where Mauga is pretty decent against Hog. Not always. It's not like a hard counter. It's not a hard counter, right? It just, Mauga has a lot of tools versus Hog. Yeah, it's wild. And actually, historically, for the longest time, Orisa's kind of shit on Hog. But now, Hog has so much sustain that unless you swap, like, Ana, Hog actually kind of out-sustains the Orisa. You can outlast her buttons if you're really good with them. So, again though, kind of arguing semantics. Next up, Ramatra. I think Ramatra is actually pretty good. However, though, is being held in check by these guys up here. And I think it's very, very map dependent. But I don't know if I can put Mauga up or Ramatra in the same tier as Mauga. I'm not sure. This is weird. This is where things get really messy. This is where things get really, really is not dominating, but in certain maps and in but it's the site. I'm just as confused. You kill them all bad. I don't know. This is tough because Doom, I think, is also like Zarya, where he's a bit of a pub stomper, but there's just so much that counters him. But if you get a game where you're not getting countered, he's not. You know what, dude, I'm gonna just stick to my guns. This feels right. I don't care. I was gonna rearrange these and like put Ryan down one. I was gonna put D.Va down one, Mauga down one for now, because like Mauga's not that good in this exact moment because of Hog isn't that good because Orisa's really holding the whole thing together. But like Mauga shuts down Hog, so I would put Mauga down one because Hog's not getting played as often. It's more of Orisa, and so because it's more of Orisa, Winston's really good. But like once this one dies, Hog will move up, and then Winston will come down because won't be that good against it. But then D.Va will be good against that. But at the same time, Mauga's here, which will also be good against Hog. This is frustrating, dude. This is a lot. This counter watch is going crazy. It's insane. Oh man,
You got my attention.
that's the best I can give you. Orisa's number 1, Hog is number 2, Winston's number 3, Sigma's number 4, D.Va's number 5, Mauga's number 6, Ramatra's number 7, Rhine is number 8, Queen is number 9, 10 is Doom, 11 is Zarya. Ball is a wild card. That doesn't mean Ball is 11th. That doesn't mean he's last. I just don't know where to put him. This is too early. I do not know the answer. This is what I'm telling you. Headshot, thanks for Prime. Appreciate it. I am telling you that I don't know. I have no problem admitting that to you. I don't know. I don't have an answer. Okay, let's move on to DPS now. Ashe, I would say, is a solid pick. Very solid. Does not dominating though. Solid pick. Bob is good. Good ranked character to pick. Not dominant. Better in previous seasons, but Mercy blows. And Ashe historically struggles without Mercy being good. And then if you do have a Mercy, just pick Sojourn. So, not really a whole lot of reason to pick Ashe, because Cass is also better. Next up is Bastion. Bastion I don't think is the best hero this season. Hell, Mercy. Yeah, Mercy's terrible. Mercy's so goddamn bad. I feel bad for all the Mercy players, for real. Bastion is not very good. Bastion's whole niche is just being a giant tank buster, but his cooldown's so long that you just wait it out. But Bastion's pretty decent against Orisa, decent against Hog, decent against Winston, decent with Mauga. Honestly, not that good against Mauga. Honestly, I like playing Mauga into Bastion. I kind of feel like I shit on Bastion on Mauga, but regardless, though, his cooldown's just so long. That's just, I would not advise you playing against Bastion, but Bastion's one of those characters that if you buff Bastion, then he just becomes oppressive, and so he kind of just has to stay somewhat shit. Cass, solid A. Hard slept on. Really good DPS. The health buffs did a lot for Cass. The bullet increases did a lot for Cass. Hinder still isn't great, although I was hitting the craziest hinders of all time the other day when I was playing. Yeah, wait, hang on. What is this clip you sent me? Seagull 3 days ago. Another touch for?
Just go Winston. I mean, dude, I didn't want to go Winston. I want to play ball for fun, but yeah, I guess I have to. Sorry, guys. I'll go Winston. I'm sorry.
Baby.
Oh, he's already swapping to Malga before I even got.
Why does my mic sound so bad?
Just spawn.
Yeah, no, now you go back and spawn and...
No, yeah, I'm going deep. I'm going deep. I'm doing it. 1 sec. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Is he gonna swap? Is he gonna swap again? Quick, push down. They don't have a tank. Go.
So if you didn't notice,
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Is he gonna swap?
See, they're on Mauga right now.
Up again. Quick, push down. They don't have a tank. Go.
And they swap Zarya.
Absolutely stopped! Yes! What a video game. You fools.
Dude, I can't tell you how many games I've had this happen.
So for context, really quick, Seagull played the other day with us. And I'm not joking, Seagull played 3 games of tank and he sounded so distressed. Like, I've never actually heard Seagull sound somewhat upset before. And he sounded so upset. He was like, dude, I can't do this. He was legitimately gonna get off. He wasn't gonna play with us anymore. Like, we were 5-stacking. It was like me, Kark, Elong. We were just having a good time. And like, he legitimately sounded upset. He was like, I can't do this. I'm losing it. Like, in 3 games. 3 games, man. 3 games. Okay. But yeah, Cass really good. Also, actually, really good. Echo. Echo's actually extremely good. Echo has somewhat thrived since the hit scan, or sorry, the projectile buffs, which you thought would be really good for hit scan mostly, which it is. But Echo's actually thrived as well, and has been good in a lot of places. If you're a really good flex DPS player, and let's say you were like a Hanzo player, shout out to all 12 of you left after all the nerfs, pick up Echo. Echo's actually really good and really fun. I would highly advise giving Echo a try. Good time. Genji, low-key Genji not that good. Genji was kind of making a resurgence at the beginning of Season 9 with all the changes because, like, nobody was getting healed and everybody was super fast-paced. But very quickly, I feel like he's kind of fallen back down. People have learned how to play with the passives and against the passives. And he also got the blade nerf, so it goes faster, but he doesn't have the burst damage as much, and so you can kind of survive the first slash. And man, Genji's kind of struggling as well. The problem is, though, I don't think you can really get buff Genji without making him kind of OP for most of the metal rank players, who are typically the ones who complain the most about Genji. Shout out to the Genji players. Tough for you guys this season. Hanzo, I think I have an opinion that is going to be very different from you if you play Hanzo. I think Hanzo's not that great, but there is one instance where Hanzo's very good. There is one instance where Hanzo's very good, and that's if they pick this guy. I have found that if they are a Hog player, you literally no longer play the same game. Your job is to not even shoot at anybody else. Your job is to stand there and wait until their hog walks up. And the second he walks up, you shoot your first arrow and then immediately mag dump your storm arrow. Immediately. Bum, 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 bum. Headshot, 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 headshot. One of two things happens. You either kill the hog instantly, or two, if he catches it and he starts taking the breather, he has to run around in circles and he uses his whole take a breather staying alive, and it gives you enough of a window for your teammates to actually get the kill. Now you might be asking, Flats, what happens after you kill the hog? Oh, you just stand there. Can't really do a whole lot else. So, yeah. Not gonna lie to you though, you have good impact. Like, I've been doing it when I've been playing ranked with everybody off rolling, because we literally can't play on main unless you're solo queuing, and solo queuing is boring as I'd rather not sit in a lobby with 4 people that don't say a word for 12 minutes, and then at the end of the game, everyone types at each other like, it's just boring. I hate it. If I had to play solo queue all the time and I didn't have friends to play with, I probably wouldn't play this game. Game's not fun to play by yourself. I think Overwatch is a team-based game. So, point is though, I found a lot of success doing that. Hanzo does have a very small niche. Hanzo definitely not good though. Has a small niche, but not good. Remember that, okay? Junkrat. I think Junkrat is actually very similar to Hanzo, where he has a small niche. He has a very small niche. And extremely high damage spam. When the other team decides to go overwhelming damage to your tank, you do the same with Junkrat, and you'll win. What I mean by this are people who go Zarya, they go Bastion, they go Zen, they go Valkyrie, and then the last DPS, you leave it up to whatever. It can be Pharah, which honestly isn't the greatest, but like some people do. At that point, you probably just have cast junk and you win. But like, the point is, regardless, Torb, Sojourn, Venture, Reaper. If you pick Reaper, you're already kind of trolling. We're gonna get there in a minute, but Echo as well. Not really. Point is though, you basically have more overwhelming spam damage than anyone else does, and with the projectile size increase, you actually are pretty spooky because they go to all in your tank and you just sit there and spam back at them and play pretty safe. And I won't lie to you, it kind of can, but that doesn't mean Junkrat's good. That doesn't mean he's useless. That's what I'm just trying to tell you. It doesn't mean he's good, it just doesn't mean he's useless. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Mei, I think Mei also is not that good. I think Mei has a very small place in Extreme Rush. We saw some in OWCS today where they played Ramatra Sim Mei, and they were just TPing in and they were just playing like old Rush strats. However, all of Mei's effectiveness comes down to 2 things, Blizzard and Wall. Her left click, her Icicle has not really a whole lot of impact anymore. Because it doesn't have nearly the scariness of the impact headshot damage it used to because of the health increases. And her freeze is actually less scary now because you have more health, which means that her time to kill is much more increased. So even though the slow is somewhat annoying, you're almost never in danger. And especially because tanks are the ones who are getting frozen the most or getting slowed the most, your time of survival has gone up significantly, which means Mei's not that as good.
Ew.
Her Blizzard's still really good. Her Wall can be really good. I think if you're playing against, say, a Rhine or a Ramatra, Mei can be pretty damn good. However, though, on a game in and game out basis, don't pick Mei. Not very good. Pharah, I think, is low-key better than people think. I think Pharah is low-key better than people think. I don't think she's the best pick, but I think that she has potential on some maps. Good spam, and the mobility is actually really nice. If you're a support player, you've definitely noticed a couple times where a Pharah just boosts on top of your head and just shoots straight down at you, and then you can't do anything, and you're just like spinning around trying to like look up really quickly, and they're just directing you from the top. That's where I found this Pharah is really good at, is just boosting over your head and then shooting straight down. Pharah's playstyle has changed from the old up in the spy box or skybox, about 19 miles away. Target acquired 36 degrees east, bearing 24 degrees north. Yep, in the sky, 12 o'clock high.
Resisted.
It's now more of like a all in, shoot straight down as fast as you possibly can type of deal. So, that being said, though, on higher ranks, right? Higher ranks, hit scan's really good, so fair is not as good. In a lot of the more open maps, fair isn't that good. But like, say, Antarctic Peninsula, the inside map, actually kind of goes crazy because like you have to walk into those small chokes, and then when your team walks out and you peek out to help your tank, just AC 130 above just comes flying by, and you're like, oh shit, what's that? Boom, it's already over, you know? And if you're a support player, I feel like you'll agree with me. If you're a tank player or a DPS player, you're like, nah, it doesn't really happen. Yes, it does. Likely our only D tier is going to be Reaper here today. Reaper's really bad. Reaper's pretty shit. Why is Reaper pretty shit? Because Reaper's whole thing is about tank busting, and every character can tank bust now. You played any tank this season? You either don't die or you explode still. So, yeah, what's the point? And what was Reaper really good against? Like, Winston's a good example. Yeah, if I'm playing a Winston, I'm probably playing Cass. If I'm playing against a Winston, I might play Tracer. If I'm playing against a Winston, I'm probably playing Sojourn. Who, ironically, is our next S tier. Not really a place for Reaper anywhere. His ult's really the only thing that's somewhat good, and it just gets Suzu'd half the time, looped away, and that's GR, you know? So, Reaper's not getting a whole lot of love. Reaper is very playable, though. I mean, yeah, every hero is playable, for sure. This is me advising you on who to play. Yeah, if you're in bronze through gold, yeah, you can pick Reaper and walk at the tank. Hey, nobody's gonna stop you. You know, no one's gonna stop you. But that's the same thing as Overwatch has been for the last 8 years. Wow, we're almost at 8 years now. That's crazy. You could always been able to do that, but I'm advising you if you actually want to like start being better and have the good picks and mechanically you're able to perform on other heroes, Reaper's not the pick. Yeah, you can always pick Junkrat and Reaper and stand there and shoot the tank for an hour. Sure, but Overwatch has always been like that in those ranks. But once you get past a certain level, it doesn't make sense to play him. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Soldier. I think Soldier's very solid. I think Soldier's a solid B or A. Let me look at the rest of the DPS. I'm gonna bump him to A. No, yeah, I'm gonna bump him to A. I think Soldier's pretty solid. I think he's really solid. But why is he solid? One, people haven't figured out how to play Ball yet. Ball versus Soldier. Soldier would be here if Ball was meta. But Orisa being meta, again, you wait out her fortifies, you can poke her down. If they're playing Hog, poke them down. If playing Winston, you're probably gonna be a little bit more careful. Sigma, you probably don't want to play Soldier versus Sigma. Soldier versus Diva, again, gotta be very careful, not ideal. Soldier versus Malga, not the worst. Soldier versus Ramatra, not the worst. Soldier versus Rhine, not the worst. Soldier versus Queen, pretty good. Soldier versus Doom, probably not the best idea. Soldier versus Zarya, in a lot of cases, probably fine. The thing is, it just has a lot of versatility. You gotta run around a lot. You know what? I'm changing it. He's a strong B. I would say like a B+. I do think, honestly, he could be a low A. But you know what? I'm actually gonna go with a high B. High B is where I'm gonna go, because I just thought about if I had to pick Cass or Soldier, and Cass is definitely ahead. So high B, low A for sure. Sombra is weird because I think she's not horrible, but I don't think she's good either. Like a low B. It's weird. The nerfs actually did hit her pretty good, but also it's not her meta. Orisa's really good. Hog's really good. Malga's pretty good. Now, if you say, what about with Winston? I counter with Sojourn, and what will be the next one? Let's just jump there now, Tracer. Why have Sombra with low damage when you can play Sojourn for your big damage and Tracer for your pick potential? Right, like for your cleanup. You know what I mean? I'm actually half tempted to drop her down at like a high C, but I think that might be a little crazy. Isn't Sombra hack good against Orisa? Not really. You can have, yeah, you can hack her out of ult, I guess, but like half the time, the only thing that would be really annoying is you can like stop the Orisa from doing something at a very opportune moment, but the hack's only 1 second. It's only a second. So as long as the Orisa isn't 1 HP when she starts using her ability, she's probably going to survive and then pop Fortify. It's fine. And if you hack the Orisa during Fortify, you did nothing. you did you did you know what I mean? Like there ain't nothing there. So I would argue no. Symmetra is actually another one of the ones that I think is not doing too hot, but isn't the worst. Again, we watched an OWCS match where they played Mei Sim and they did the really hard TP around crazy shit as Symmetra always does. However, though, at the same time, Symmetra is weird. She doesn't have the same burst. They also nerfed her turrets, which was nice. And on top of that, too, you have to get so close, and you don't have any mobility. You don't have any mobility, and so, like, you basically, yeah, Sim is basically the TP out of spawn character at the moment, which is kind of... Sim can be insane in the right hands. Every hero in Overwatch in the right hands can always do well in ranked. What a tier list is my recommendation to you on what you should play in order to perform well or to have a good time. It's not ideal. Yes, there's always going to be a sim connoisseur who's absolutely insane. That's existed since the start of this game. But the problem is, though, is you can't really buff sim, because if you start buffing characters like Sim, Mei, Junkrat, etc., you kind of make the game shit.
I can't cast that yet.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, I guess, but like half the time, like if you try to buff characters to the point where they're always valuable, it doesn't feel good. And so there needs to be niches. And unfortunately, though, characters that used to always have at least somewhat of a niche don't seem to have those niches anymore. And I don't know how to fix it. Because Sim used to be really good on certain maps. Your Lijiang Towers type of deal, you know, like Lijiang Nightmark is a classic example of extremely good TP to point, get their early aggressive positioning, set up turrets if they don't TP, spam out really hard, you know, like Nepal, yeah, sure. Like there's, you know what I mean? There was always ones, but doesn't seem to be the same anymore, so I don't know. Torb, I think, is low-key, not bad. I think he's a solid B. Good spam, good damage. Picking Torb is never a bad idea. Ult's always still really good. 400 HP, E, go Burr. Good spam, good poke with their tank quite a bit. Tracer being really strong. Torb turret's always really good for that. Nothing wrong with picking Torb. You ever feel like you're having a bad game? Pick Torb. There you go. Venture. I think Venture's still a little early, but so far, I'm leaning towards a high B. I'm leaning towards a high B with Venture. Because Venture is solid. And you probably are going, Frats, what do you mean? I got one shot by a Venture. Yeah, but how often does that happen? And what happened after you died? Right? Like, if they all in and they used all of their abilities on you and they killed you, they're probably dead. It's almost like old Doom, where they can get kills and they can do a lot of damage if you don't respect them. You have to respect Venture. If you don't respect the Venture, you will die. But if you do respect the Venture, and you know what they can do, you can play around them pretty well. I would argue that it's still too early to say how strong they would be potentially, like, long term. But so far, I feel like they're a very solid pick, but not dominant. So that's why I'm going with like a high B. Also in the B category, I'm gonna throw in Widow. I think Widow's just middle of the road. Can dominate on some maps in certain instances against certain comps. Like if you're not playing against Sombra on Havana, you can pop off and kill everybody. But if they go Sombra and, you know, it's, I don't know, King's Row, you're toast. You know, you might be dead. That's just the way it goes. Widow is very feast or famine, as Widow has always been. So I will put the middle of the road B tier. If you're insanely mechanically talented on Widow maps, you will thrive. If you are not mechanically talented on not Widow maps, you will famine. Let's just get this out of the way at the start. Kiri is S. I've saw some pro players basically complaining and talking about like Ana versus Kiri, and you know, like talking about like how Kiri will never be meta unless they don't nerf her, but like she also does everything, you know. And if you just think about like the way her ult even works, like remember Window used to be like the most oppressive support ult? Remember Window was like the big deal in Overwatch 1? Window blows now in comparison, because all you have to do is step on Kiri's ult and you get the effectiveness. While Window is like, you have to be placed somewhere and everybody has to line up, and everyone's learned how to LOS, everyone's learned to rotate, and on top of that, a lot of times it's only 1 or 2 people, because that's the way Overwatch is played now. It's not all 6 people shooting through Window anymore, it's like 1, 2, maybe 3 people if you're lucky. And so Kiri ult, you just pop it on the ground, then everyone stands near it and you just go crazy. So, you know, I gotta say, I don't really know what to do with Kiri, because they have insanely good damage, insanely good burst, Suzu being an insanely good ability, TP on 6-second cooldown, pop it through a wall. I'm not saying you need to nerf Kiri, but she does everything. So this might be wild, but I think the only way you keep Kiri from either being kind of annoying and nerfing her or being dominant is a format change. I think if we went back to 6v6 tomorrow, Kiri wouldn't be that good. I think she'd still be very good, but like I think other characters would all of a sudden be better. I think Bap would be better. I think that Brig would be better. I think that Moira would even be better. Like all these things, you know? I hate to say it. I think Kiri is one of those characters where she's gonna always be really, really good, or if you nerf her to the point where she's not as good anymore. That's it. Like to the point where, sorry, not as good anymore, like where she's like almost unplayable, you know? What have you done? No, I'm just trying to put it to you that like people talk about like, oh, you just need to buff Ana, or you just need to nerf Kiri. You by like just adjusting the numbers, you're just gonna make the character borderline unplayable or oppressive. Like I don't feel like there's a spot where you can make them where they're both good, not game breaking. Okay, let's do the other S tier while we're here. Lucio. I love my frog brethren. I do love Lucio players. I love Lucio being meta. I genuinely do. Lucio did get a pretty heavy nerf going damage from 20 to 18, but did get a damage buff on Boop, and I have to sit here and go,